let me have a look. Let me open these things on. I only have a one screen today, so if you can, maybe I might not be able to notice all the comments. But we will see. Let's see.
Right.
Okay, so if you can,
Yeah, anyways.
maybe I might not be able to notice all the comments. Uh, I can hear
Okay.
myself
So the usual, I'm not
from.
I'm not able to be heard. Okay, 1 second. Hello. Hello, hello. Microphone.
Okay, these nuts. Uh, okay, I think.
I'm just gonna.
Okay, let yeah. Let me just share this on um the Twitter, and we can get into things. Uh, 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 okay, hello, friends. How are we doing? Hope you're doing well. If not, it's your problem, not mine. Um, so hi guys, welcome to the next weekly stream. Thank you for tuning in. As always, the streams are sponsored by BONKbot. If you like the streams, you can use the link which I posted to both chats. So you will see it on YouTube or Twitter, wherever you're watching. Um, and if you're gonna if you're gonna use the link, you will get access to the BONKbot's telemetry app, which is this new kind of a screener for all the on-chain stuff and on-chain things related. So if you are into that, make sure to check them out. And with all that being said, we can get into things. Aaron is showing the telemetry app on a stream as well. So you have a bunch of cool features there. We are probably two of the most useless on-chain people ever, but I'm pretty sure that for those of you that are more kind of interested and well versed in this section of the market, there is a very plenty of cool features that you can utilize, from tracking different wallets, looking at all of these new launches, and hopefully avoiding all of the rugs and scams, which is not few of them. Anyway, okay, so let's chat about BTC and the big coins for a while. So I don't remember when we spoke last time, but I'm pretty sure
I
the
believe it
price
was
is not.
Monday.
Yeah, so on Monday we had this little bit of a sell-off last. Sorry, Monday. Oh yeah, Monday last week. Yeah, so we had a little bit of a sell-off last week. I think I tweeted about this a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago. I don't even remember that. I feel like that the kind of a end of this cycle or this uptrend is going to be basically a little bit different than what we kind of saw previously, where the whole space was very heavily retail driven, and basically you had these like a blow of top situations where the premiums and funding rates and all of these things go like insanely crazy and stuff around that. I think this time around this is not going to really happen. And since Bitcoin changed so much since 2024, we have all of this kind of a institutional adoption. So much flow came from ETFs. So all of these metrics that we were kind of used to in the prior cycles, especially in 2021, are not that overblown as they used to be. So I posted something, last week, I think, which is kind of like a making fun of things, but basically there was like so many headlines last week, where there was this it started basically with this MicroStrategy pyramid thing. Then the SEC launched this Project Crypto, whatever. You had a Forbes cover of the Robinhood guy, and then all of these things kind of happening basically without price going up, which in my opinion is not great. This is kind of something that how I would I would kind of expect to top to see the form. But that being said, I think this was basically last Thursday or something like that, and price kind of is staying very much similar at the moment. The S&P also had a little bit of a sell-off basically last towards the end of the last week, but it's also kind of crawling back up since. So in my opinion, and I don't want to be too boring with this, but I still feel like, and I still think that we are in an uptrend. BTC price has been in an uptrend since kind of forever, and if this is even if this is going to be like the situation where we're gonna basically just range, towards the end of the year or whatever, which I saw, that seems to be kind of like a consensus idea at this point on what I see on timeline, which is probably not the best thing, and it's most likely not going to happen. But basically, the most post of I see now is range until Q4, and then whatever Valhalla is happening after that. Um, yeah, I'm personally unsure about that, but like I said, I still feel like we are in uptrend. I personally, I mentioned the same thing last week. I'm going to say it again. I didn't really buy towards the end of the last week or over the weekend. Uh, I would be probably interested in buying somewhere like sub 110k, giving the kind of a long a shot. I I think that would be kind of a sufficient, reset of like basically that kind of a mid range. No, sorry, not a mid range. So, yeah, like around 105, 110 basically would be some area where I would be interested. I'm not day trading, as especially now it's summer. Uh, but in general, I try to take trades which can last longer, and I can hold them for a while. So for me, this would kind of come into play around basically sub 110k, to give this a shot. If we would go there, if you would go to 110, not continue higher, then I would start considering this thing to be like basically under 100k. uh I would kind of be like, okay, this might be due to like a bigger pullback, a type of situation, that market structure might be broken. It looks pretty weak at that point. But so far, I kind of like to treat this as an uptrend. We had some interesting data, or like the data of the things that I look at least start to look pretty interesting. Options on the Reddit, the puts are in a pretty decent premium when it comes to implied volatility, which means there is a higher demand. People are getting a little bit scared. Buying these puts, make them a little bit more expensive. Usually, you see that around uh, kind of a good mean reversion signals. Also, I think we shaved off some of the open interest, probably not that much, but yeah, I would kind of look for that too. Yeah, we did shave. I'm looking at just running open interest. The high was like 300,000 coins. Now it's 250. Yeah, that's also pretty decent. If you're gonna look at BTC OI on like higher time frame, it's been basically going down uh since last couple of days, which I think is always kind of a good signal. Obviously, it's a little bit of an oversimplification when it comes to OI, because like this doesn't have to be only longs and stuff like that. Obviously, you can have open interest going up and those being shorts, and then vice versa. But from these like higher time frame point of view, based how people just behave in general in crypto, when you have flush in OI, it's on like a bigger time frame, it's longs. When OI is going up, it's also long. So um, that's kind of that. So yeah, I'm willing to give this a shot. I would like to see price to go a little bit lower though. I don't think now, and obviously it can just shoot up now and go to 120 new all-time highs, whatever. I don't think the risk to reward is there, at least not for me. to kind of go into this as a swing trade. So I'm just sidelined and coping at the moment.
Yeah, so as for Bitcoin, I'm with you. I think a lot of it, a lot of the price action past week has been simply TradFi correlation, which is something I feel like we've been beating like a dead horse at this point, but it has been very accurate. I mean, I have the chart in front of me, the favorite spaghetti I like to use. It's I think you would have to fail like basic eye test to not see it. Basically, the correction before or around Friday session, we had the worst like Nasdaq day in months, which is hilarious because it was like -2%. It's obviously been fully recovering as per usual, but I'm obviously being a little sarcastic. I think it's a very dangerous mindset to be like, oh, it's gonna bounce. In terms of TradFi, August tends to be pretty bad with seasonality. I know you don't like that, but like I knew we were gonna talk about altcoins, but I was trading Solana. I mean, we went from 207 to 155, which I think is it is a pretty big correction. It's like 25% move.
Yeah.
Obviously, doing tick to tick is like classic crypto Twitter influencer thing, but I mean 25% move is a big one. Fartcoin went down like 50%. So, even though Bitcoin barely moved, reality is nobody really trades Bitcoin, right? Anyways.
Yeah. I think it's pretty tough for me, because like you said that like BTC and the S&P still the correlation is quite there. Both of them at the end of the day are kind of risk assessed and all of that. Yeah, I don't really have much of a bias when it comes to the S&P now. With this thing just kind of goes up. So and it's pretty silly to try to call the top. And most of the people, if you are in like a traditional finance Twitter, people just call the top on the S&P all the time, and it just keeps going up. So yeah, it's definitely a little bit tough, but yeah, you are right. Like a lot of the altcoins sold off quite a bit. From what I saw over the last couple of days, I had this trade which the Sol ETH kind of pair trade. I wish I held it a little bit longer. Not gonna lie. Classic European closing too soon. But yeah, that was kind of my big trade in altcoins, and this is going to be like 3 weeks now since I opened it, and I think I closed it towards the end of the last month. So but yeah, it's been pretty clear that even this week is still getting a lot of love. I think it's up. um Most is, yeah, ETH I think still, yeah, it's kind of trying to break as well. So yeah, I think ETH is probably still going to be the play. I'm not really keeping that big of a track of all of the inflows and all of the institutional stuff. I'm sure you might have a little bit better information in that regards, but but yeah, I think it is still kind of playing the idea that Ethereum could most other liquid, at least, coins bet at this time.
Yeah, I mean, even just by looking at Velo, which we cannot, like by nominal figures, Ethereum had more inflows to 4.6 billion compared to Bitcoin's 3.8, which is, obviously market cap adjusted. It's not even close, right? Ethereum is like 400 bill market cap, and Bitcoin is how many trillions these days? And one thing I want to mention, because I've been mentioning it like a broken clock for the past 2 years, is Sailor. I think that one of the biggest things that happened for my analysis as of late is MicroStrategy had earnings call. Did you? I mean, you mentioned it in one of your posts with the pyramid / triangle post. It's a bit of mocking, but they released their new like approach to MNAV. And now I think the best website to track MNAV is just strategy.com, which would be Sailor's obviously website. And right now MNAV is 1.68, and they basically had this triangle. I can pull it up on my other screen, but basically they cannot really buy BTC as of right now. So what they do with that is they keep launching these like new leveraged products. The latest one being the stretch. They upsized the offering to like 6 billion total, I believe, from 2.5 and another 4.2 billion. So yeah, I don't know what to like, how to feel about it. Effectively, the entire strategy earnings call has been buy MicroStrategy, bro. Trust me, bro. We're undervalued, bro. It's a bit left a weird taste in my mouth. Like you have the most successful asset since the 2022 bottoms, being MicroStrategy. It's outperformed everything, including Nvidia. And these guys basically telling you how market is wrong, that they're undervalued, more leverage. I like, how do you feel about, obviously two Europeans have a take on things, but
I not gonna lie, I have very little
okay.
take, and this is one of the reasons why I never really trade like individual stocks, for example, that much, because I just don't really look into these type of things. But yeah, it's definitely a little bit concerning, and I think it comes down to it, like all of things that happened. Like we are very much not early, and we spoke about this last week. This is kind of that, I don't know, like if the and like correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but this was the main kind of a goal for a lot of people to have this like institutional adoption, basically, back in 2022, 23, when we were first start to hearing about ETFs and then all of these things. Like, to me, this does seem to be, like, this looks to me like a peak institutional adoption from within like boundaries, basically, right? Like, you have these ETFs, you have all these companies using the treasuries. Perps are now available in the US. You have crypto exchanges offering US stocks, basically, and trading US stocks now to at least US customers. European customers can trade these tokenized whatever things as well. Like, yeah, I was just thinking about this the other day. Like, what more of the like like how much more the institutional adoption basically this can get, or like what is the next narrative
Hear me out.
besides
Bitcoin lending.
yeah.
2021 all over again.
Like like obviously there can be this like a scarcity effect, like people just they still have limited supply, whatever, this type of thing. But when it comes to like a narrative in terms of like what other good news can happen, I kind of struggle to think what more can come. But obviously this doesn't mean that like Bitcoin cannot continue to trend higher. Like I said, people just want BTC. If you will get all these ETF flows coming in and people just buying coins, and obviously this thing is kind of gonna continue higher. But yeah, I like we seem to be, at least for me, to me last week, that we were just getting so much good news, and I wasn't really seeing that in a price performance, basically.
Jokes aside, I think the like what is the popular narrative on at least social media and Twitter is that yes, we achieved the institutional adoption, nationwide adoption. Like it's actually interesting. Even fucking El Salvador, as they've been buying Bitcoin since 2022, they have like 800 million in it now. Like it's it's a lot for such a small country. But the next thing could be the narrative to answer to actually make the point is like macro situation, with the rate cuts and denominator becoming worthless, meaning dollar. That is a that kind of leans into the classic plan B type analysis. I find it a bit pointless to be like, where does Bitcoin trade at 2% interest rates? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you probably also don't have any take on that. That is, I think that is like the next step people are waiting for. We obviously just had FOMC. There was no cut. The next FOMC is like in mid-September, I believe. And
Yeah.
So what does it mean?
I
Another 6 weeks of doing nothing?
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm. Let's not go to rate cuts and trying to macro ARP our way on on this. Um, yeah, I don't think like we both care that much about this anyway, and I think macro overall is kind of a thing you talk about on Twitter, but yeah. So yeah, that's kind of for Bitcoin. I think I shared from my end, which unfortunately is boring, but my swing trading and really my trading in the last 2 years has been very boring. But good thing about boring trading is that it can still be very profitable if you are able to sit on your hands and all of these things. So yeah, I'm kind of waiting to see if we can get this dip under 110K. I think the data in derivatives and in spot and on all of these things I'm looking at is kind of there for the trade. But I will have to wait and see if I'm going to get it or not. I think if this just continues to go higher and breaks like 120K, then it's very easily going to much higher. Um, for Ethereum, it had a good recovery last basically this week. I think it went up the most from all of these coins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. Like I had ETH long, which I have closed around 3,800. So not coping that much at the moment. But yeah, it's this thing, right? And I think I do this like I did do very similar thing in the last trend markets and in the last trending environments, and I trade a bunch of stuff, and I always do it when markets are trading like trending like this. I always kind of try to buy lower. In most cases, I'm not going to get the prices that I want, but for ETH, I think I would just buy. I would, obviously, any kind of pullback, I think it should be still get bought up, and then the fact that ETH is holding still relatively well, I think it shows this kind of demand or whatever narrative we are in right now. I also would say that if ETH is going to break above 4K, or like this like basically last month's high type of situation, and this kind of big resistance which had these highs since March, and 4K you have like the big psychological level on top of everything as well. I think it can very easily just overshoot and go basically back to all-time highs or stuff like that. So that's something that I'm watching for. If we would really break above 4K, then I wouldn't be surprised to see this kind of a quick acceleration in ETH. So that's probably all I could say at the moment, at least.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think a lot of the heavy lifting has been done by these treasury companies. I see so many retarded takes about treasury companies itself. It's incredible, but yeah, definitely if you're ETH bull, you should be printing out pictures of Tom Lee. The guy has been. It's actually impressive. Like I have not seen
Yeah.
such autism since Michael Saylor in the early days. Like he's definitely doing his part. So, Fundstrat, if you don't know, I mean you all probably know anyways. But Tom Lee has been buying a fuck ton. There is now like 7 or 8 Ethereum treasury companies, and they've been buying. They've been buying quite a bit. ETF's been buying quite a bit, and they still have a lot of money left. So I think even if the macro LARPing angle with like rate cuts and today is the Tornado Cash trial. Just literally now, I believe there was his sentencing.
Mm-hmm.
All the regulatory stuff, SEC releasing the crypto, whatever thing it is. SEC talking about liquid staking just yesterday. I think ETH benefits much more than Bitcoin from all these net positive headlines as of late. So I remain long ETH BTC for that reason.
Yeah, for sure. And ETH chart is also looking pretty interesting. A lot of open interest shaved off. in the last couple of days. I think even and the premium is also, still like I know we spoke about, I spoke about the funding rates and how they are not the same as they used to be back in 2021, but the basis basically on ETH is like very low. I think like what is the
How much of it is Ethena also?
yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's like 7% annualized, which is like very low numbers basically. So yeah, ETH I think still is looking good. Solana is probably not looking that great still, or like there is I don't know. I know that you have that thesis you shared for Sol, which is but it's coming much later
Yeah,
in the
it's like
year.
this type of content that people love and will not call me Hitler for. Um, like in 35 years it should do well. Like, yay!
Yeah, but at the moment it's been kind of nice per trade, and I really like these markets that where like not everything goes just YOLO at the same time, and you have these like clear strength and weaknesses across the board. Like like I was late to eat longs. Like I didn't get long in that range basically at 2500 and only got really long eat at around 2900 basically before we had the big move up. And I was like, fuck, I'm like late, I'm basically buying a breakout, and it's not that comfy, but since I was kind of able to pair it up a little bit with shorting Sol, it made the trade a little bit better as well. So yeah, I don't know. I still feel like there is not much going on for Sol until the ETH is gonna come out, and if we will see that what's gonna happen on that sense, and there is like a lot of I don't know. I just saw like bunch of like drama around the pump fund and stuff like that, but I'm not really keeping much of an eye on these things.
Yeah, not much for Sol. The only thing I guess what historically has done well is now we have the moving averages compression on daily, which should lead to like a
Yeah,
volatile
some
move, if you
move.
will, eventually. Not the best question. Obviously, the good question is up or down, and like I don't know. So a great analysis, but um,
Altcoins in general didn't really, like solve quite a bit. Like you mentioned Fartcoin as well. Yeah, that I
yeah, I
saw
mean,
like a lot
I
of
see
people.
generational bottom posts on this 33 times a day, and just
Yeah, Fartcoin is up down like 50%. Hype is, yeah, 30%. Yeah, I saw a lot of people in pain on timeline, which was kind of surprising. But yeah, I guess I haven't realized how much some of these coins corrected. Um,
the fuck is this chart?
is there? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the kind of narrative for Farcoin is there. I feel like that thing, and this is coming from someone who is like has like zero expertise in these things, but I feel like a lot of that died with launch of the pump token, as unsuccessful as that was and terrible for
It's actually pretty
everyone who
green.
bought it.
I mean,
Is it?
just 2 good weeks to break even on ICO sale, and
Yeah, it's been going up a little bit. Um, but yeah, I feel like Fartcoin kind of lost the on-chain coin, you know, throne with this launch, and it's been kind of more irrelevant um, as of late. So hyperliquid, I think this is still looking pretty good. This trading, it's holding up. Obviously, it's more volatile than your Bitcoin and ETH is going to be, but that's kind of a feature, not a bug, type of situation. So Uh, other than that, I don't really know if there are any. Is there any interesting altcoin narrative at the moment? I'm
uh,
looking at.
I think I have a bread and butter, which is a great follow by the way on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like what is kind of coming up in the coming days. Like even unlocks are tiny, so you know, an unlock of $12 million makes the headlines, which is like irrelevant. And not to shit on
On
bread and butter, they're great, but
Yeah,
just
I'm looking
nothing.
at
It's
some of
really
these
nothing.
global charts on CoinAlyze. ETH on Saturday did more volume than both Bitcoin and all the other altcoins. It's pretty crazy. Yeah, Bitcoin ETH is basically doing like double of BTC volume at this point, and it's also almost matching the all of the other coins as well. That's kind of crazy. Uh, and
Damn.
it's yeah, 26%. The OI wise, it's still kind of chill, but yeah, or like it's not that unusual, but yeah, the volume is pretty crazy. Like ETH, I don't remember when was the last time when ETH was flipping Bitcoin in daily volume, basically kind of back to back on most days.
But I also think just no nobody truly trades Bitcoin these days. Like I, post about Bitcoin and get like 3 likes. Like, but from everybody, it's I don't know why. Um, but
Are
yeah,
people?
literally not much happening. There's some macro
Yeah, I
stuff
don't
which
know.
we don't
Like,
want to
do
discuss.
do people not really care anymore about BTC?
I mean, they care when it goes down 5% and their altcoin jumps out of 37th floor. But I genuinely don't think anybody holds Bitcoin because it's expensive in their eyes, at least. Um,
Someone is asking about TRX. It's you saw the video, right, from the
oh man, from the astronaut himself,
amazing. Dude, this chart is
is
like the
absolute bullshit.
most criminal thing. Like if you look at TRX on a weekly chart,
Yeah, yeah.
it's like the most
Honeypot.
insane. Yeah, it's just insane, man. Like don't I have no idea what type of crime is coming into this price section, but it's insane. Like that's probably like one of the most
Unnatural price
yeah.
actions.
This is basically like the one of the best things you could have bought in the last 5 years, and would have been like one of the most stress-free investments where you would be just smiling basically because obviously it goes up and it had its own corrections, but especially last 2 years, dude, this
Holy
looks really
shit.
like a honeypot. It's insane. I have no idea what like even I don't know anyone who like ever used TRX on something else than sending the stable coins.
Well, but it is the thing
um
with a lot of these, and this is gonna sound so racist, but I don't give a fuck. A lot of these Asian coins, like it's just BNB is the same. BNB, TRX, back at the time HHX, HTX. Do you remember HTX?
yeah,
And it's a Huobi token. I was
yeah, he owns
used to
that
trade.
now.
Yeah, I used to trade it on
Yeah,
FTX. I got butt
yeah.
fucked pretty hard trading against Justin Sun. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
just
yeah
no,
I
not
think
trading.
Asia is like whole different. I think yeah, just whole different.
Fuck. Yeah, like
Narratives and
I don't
everything,
know
but
what to say. There isn't, I guess, to actually a part to be like, haha, chart is funny. I would completely. I think the absolute best advice I can give to a TRX, just don't trade it, especially since like from understanding, I assume a lot of our audience are Europeans, so probably looking to short. I don't think it's worth it. Like pick up gardening or something, but they would not short TRX. It's actually, yeah,
yeah,
it's, I mean, not much to say. It's number 9 crypto with almost $32 billion market cap. Just why is beyond me, but so is Cardano, right? It's 27 billion FDV, just market cap. Sorry. Some things
yeah.
cannot be explained.
It's funny. You know what's I think it's pretty funny to see these, like, because there's this like huge mindset in crypto, like everyone is looking for the new coins all the time. Like, what is the next thing? But like, if you really look at Ripple, right? Like, this thing is trading at $3 and doesn't seem to be like dying down. It performed extremely well in July. I think it's one of the best performing coins.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Of the
and
entire cycle,
like
yeah.
you have Tron, obviously. Cardano is uh, that's not that great. But yeah, like a lot of these, Dino coins basically still kind of being pretty safe bets. If you want to get some of the altcoin exposure at least. What's the deal with Ripple now? Do you keep a
Mm,
track of that?
just just ETFs coming up, and I think it should do pretty
Yeah.
well because like a lot
Do you
of
think it's
the
going to do
uncles.
better than Sol?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, in the like, if you look at what type of people are investing with BlackRock and Fidelity and whatnot, it is like the like a weird uncle, that is married but has like a side piece on Bumble, like cheating on his like just confused uncle. I think he's more likely to be familiar with the banking coin. And
Yeah,
I just
that's
feel like Solana
true.
audience are Zoomers.
Yeah, that's kind of my concern with the Sol ETF because like if if any of you or if you keep track of the CME futures, like they are not doing well. It's safe to say that, I think. Let me just check quickly. Right, like yeah.
Is it
So
also on CoinGlass, the data?
oh shit, it did it's on Velo.
Oh
They
wow.
did 1.2 billion volume on July 22nd, and they are back to doing that's kind of funny. Like they were doing like 100 million volume a day, which is like nothing basically. That's like so uh you know so 11, while ETH is doing like 2 billion a day on CME, and BTC is doing around I think 5 to 10. But yeah, then they did for 3 days they did above 1 billion, and then the volumes dropped back down to like 100
Oh,
million a
don't tell
day.
me that's where I exited July 22nd.
Yeah,
Of
yeah,
Sol.
July 22nd. That was basically the
Fuck yeah!
top
Did
of
I
Sol.
get to dump on fucking CME? Let's
Yeah,
go.
the annualized basis spiked to 35% on CME and so. So yeah, it seems like it got a little bit of attraction, but like if we kind of take out these 3 days, which I find kind of funny that basically on July 10th, Sol was doing 55 million volume, and then it spiked 1.2 bill in this short period of time and then died again. I wouldn't say it's big of a success overall. In like I know that like ETH took a lot of time, but at the same time, like the whole kind of a narrative is now kind of in for it, with all these institutional things. So yeah, I think one thing which would be really big is, and I'm with the perps that launched in the US. They are only for Bitcoin and ETH now, right?
The Coinbase situation, or
Yeah, and
pay.
Kraken as well.
Oh, I honestly haven't been keeping track of Americans.
Yeah,
I
because
keeping
I
track, keeping up with the president is enough.
yeah, that's true. But
No, sorry, no clue. But I
uh,
think, man, they just all use hyperliquid.
let me just read through this. Yeah, because like Coinbase launched on July 21st futures, or the perpetual futures that are for US people, only for Bitcoin and ETH. Uh, so so I think that could be kind of a nice narrative for Sol if it doesn't exist uh yet. Is that like like Sol has been this kind of a retail friendly coin, like it's a little bit I feel like tough bet that the ETF is going to pick up from like an institutional point of view, same as Bitcoin did, for example. And I think we could kind of see a little bit of that in the fact that the Solana CME futures have not had that great of success since launching a couple months ago. But I think what could be really a good narrative for Sol, what can bring a lot of volume to Sol, perhaps, and just OI and everything, is that if the perpetual futures are going to get launched in the US as well, alongside Bitcoin and ETH.
TLDR, read my Telegram bull post for Solana. I'm gonna claim Cloud when Bitcoin is at 200k and Sol is at 200. Severely underperformed. I mean, we've been saying it a lot. The ETF coins, I think, is just much better played. And like, there's so much absolute dog shit that did not move. Best indicator for that is either others BTC, which people have heard from my post a trillion times. I know you don't like the chart, but it's just fucking tragic. And others ETH compared to ETH is even sadder. It's like altcoins underperformed ETH by 45% on average. It's just in last 3 months.
So yeah, that's is there anything, because someone asked about Doge ETF. I guess
it's not even filed, I believe.
I have no idea. Like, don't know how real that is.
1 second, I have the table somewhere from James Seyfert. But so Dogecoin, okay, Dogecoin does have ETF coming from Grayscale, Bitwise, and 21 shares. So my only thing is, why I think some ETFs will perform better than others is simply who is in it. And I think you kind of want to see fidelity there. But maybe I'm completely... Because like my kind of... how my analysis goes is you look at the Bitcoin ETF flows, then you see who's doing good inflows. Incredible sentence. And I extrapolate from that who's going to do well. And fidelity is one of the biggest ones for Bitcoin, basically.
Yeah.
And Grayscale for all the others is just fucking full stack Hitlering the chart. Even though, of course, I'm not, or does. So if you look at Dogecoin, Grayscale, Bitwise, and 21 share, does Grayscale have Dogecoin Trust product from the past? Grayscale. Of course they do. So if it gets approved, it's just gonna be a fucking sellers again. God damn it.
Okay, so other than that, you guys, any questions?
Yeah, we're gonna leave it up for questions.
I think we covered, ETH, Bitcoin, Solana. Yeah, it's been. I think the ETH logo on your, like, if it trades above 0.05 BTC.
Yes. But beautiful thing is I'm so very, very heavy ETH BTC long, so I'm happy to take a new tattoo and make a few milli in the process. That'll be pretty. But yes, I'll happily live stream it on pump.fun or whatever. With Gainsey, Gainsey will be doing the tattoo.
Nice.
If he can get out of his bunker.
It looks pretty good still, yeah, I think. You might be getting that.
But I think also much bigger chance for ETH BTC to do well if Bitcoin actually has like a proper correction. I think it's much easier to move ETH upwards than I don't know why it's like my kind of mental framework. Like if Bitcoin goes to 95 and chops there, and I think ETH can actually run to 0.05 ETH BTC.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, it's a I don't want to say boring market because BTC is always at 115K, but at the same time, it's been, you know, uh, it's the thing with, I think, all of the markets. It's just like nothing is happening for the most part, and then there is this one day when you really need to pay attention, take those trades, and then just let them kind of do its thing. Unless obviously you are day trading, then it's a little bit of different game. But I don't think we are, either of us are sitting here at 1 minute chart at this point. So uh, would you mind taking about common day of work? Do you have fixed planning with subject, time period, or something? Taking daily and try to organize. Yeah, sure. I think that's a pretty interesting question. For me, like I try to do like a lot of different things and trade a lot of different strategies. I think one thing that really kept me sane over all of these years is the fact that I trade TradFi. Uh, and I barely ever mention this on Twitter. Because people just don't care, which is fine. I actually kind of prefer it this way at this point. But yeah, I trade a lot of markets. I trade all CME listed futures, for example. So I still, and even though I hold these trades for longer, I have this kind of process where I go through all of the markets. Basically, it's every single day. It takes me like hour or two, and then I just try to learn new things. I have been trading options much more lately. Trading some of the volatility stuff. So this is like non-directional trading basically. I've been learning how to code as well. So yeah,
Oh yeah, I
I
want to
just
talk
kind of
about your thingy a little bit. I have it
yeah.
here on my
So
chart. I lost money already. Fuck you.
it's a very simple thing. It just like looks at basically changes in the open interest and price between Binance Spot and Perps, and then I did the volume thing, which is also kind of not that complicated. But yeah, I guess my point is that I try to kind of keep myself busy. I'm very fortunate enough that over the years I don't really am forced to trade every day. If I don't, like this week, for example, it's fucking Wednesday, and I had a bunch of TradFi exposure which I closed last week, and basically I have been flat ever since week started, and I just haven't really had any trade opportunities. I went through things today. There's nothing that I like to trade, and it's very likely that I'm not going to take a next trade for the next couple of days. And yeah, I have been kind of fortunate enough that I can afford that, um, but yeah, it's it's a not easy thing. That's why I always try to like learn new stuff. Like I mentioned, there is like always so much you can do and so much you can learn, and I've been really going into this these options things and systematic trading, and then trying to make all of these different tools basically, which will kind of help you to even do basically less manual work, at least at the end of the day. So because I really started to feel like that, like if because I still do enjoy trading. I don't think I'm very good at many other things, and I'm like half decent in trading. Um, so I do enjoy it. I trade this, um, but yeah, I'm really kind of aiming to systematizing as many of things I can. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Was it question
And the
for
runner
like both?
just goes to I just open Strava every day, and he like goes for like 3 hour runs. So that's probably your answer there.
No, I think to be honest, I really like this approach with like looking for like a week ahead. So I try to day trade around dates. For example, I think it's the very good and easy day trade opportunities were just a few days ago. We had like FOMC, NFP, and I'm not gonna hear Adam is probably cringing over there, but it's just days where you get volatility, and if you want to day trade and, you know, around these headlines, I've got a bunch of like 2 to 3% moves on Bitcoin. I know it's laughable, probably to a lot of you, but pays the bills. I mean, it's pretty good for me. And yeah, that's what I like. I like these vertical lines. Honestly, I don't know why. Vertical lines on the table while partying, like all day, everyday lines. Vertical lines for macro events and a lot of these. I think, like, so to give an example of what is next, I think next week will be interesting. The CPI, which is August 12th. And until then, I'm basically doing fuck all. But also, to be very honest, today we're mooning, I think mostly because of Apple. If you look at the headlines from Trump, what is the ticker? AAPL. There's going to be some announcement from Trump coming up actually in like 30 minutes. So stuff like that is what I'm looking to see. Apple is up, like, what is this, 7% today? 5, 6, right?
Yeah.
Why am I doing fibs? Yeah, I mean, Apple being up 6% intraday is massive move for such a company. So stuff like that is what I'm doing these days. And but Adam is kind of making me FOMO because, like, he's actually putting in work, like learning options, making his indicators, and I'm here fucking putting vertical lines on the charts and running a lot. My midlife crisis is like stuff like signing up for ultra marathons. But at least you know, you can say a lot of things about me, about my behavior online. At least I stick to the name I chose.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there is like so much stuff you can do, and like, you know, like trading these like news and narratives is definitely one, but it's like very, you need to dedicate a lot of time to it. It's very hard. Um, but yeah, if you really need to, I don't know, like I like really like to do a lot of the work when it comes to, you know, like improving trading and all this stuff, but I'm also very like easy to burn out at some point, which I don't really have it now, but like I had it very much when I was day trading, because, you know, you just sit here and wait for spike in liquidation so you can start buying into it, you know, like retard on 1 minute chart, which it's you know, like it's more than fine thing to do, and I think it's still works, and it's, you know, like, for
I mean, we
example, this
both did
type of
that,
thing.
right? For a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I think we both did that very heavily, you know, a couple of years ago, and I still think to this day it's like one of the best things you can do, because like you are basically providing liquidity at, you know, very reasonable place, and the whole trade kind of makes sense, and it's like it's a good trade, but like I'm not willing to at this point to like sit here on 1 minute chart, which once again, you know, this is something that you can probably, you know, automate, like, so you can pull all these, you know, liquidation data, you can set up Telegram, you know, all that is like these are basically things that I've been looking at lately, that, like, you know, I know, you know, I have been trading for a while, so I kind of know what works, and like where it makes sense to take trades and where it maybe doesn't. um but yeah, but like making some sort of process to make it as easy for you as it can, it's you know, a good thing to focus towards on, because like, yeah, like I remember when I started trading and I was day trading for like first 2 years, and especially like once there comes this point when you like start to make the money first, because obviously, you know, when you start trading, there's this beginning period which sucks, and when you just lose basically everything, but then hopefully you're gonna, you know, start making some money, and then you start to feel like it is the best thing in the world, and you can, you know, do this for forever basically, which some people can, like I know some people that are just, you know, doing the same lower time frame day trading stuff for years now and seem to be fine with it, but you know, I very quickly realized that I'm probably going to uh not be very happy in the long run. So yeah, you really need to know, I guess, what you want to be doing, and kind of start thinking about, you know, how sustainable it is as well.
And just having fun with it. I guess not that I'm dealing with this problem set, but not everything is worth like maxing out the money if you're feeling fucking miserable. I remember me and Adam having this chat when we were doing a run. Like actually, it's almost 2 years ago now. But basically saying, am I willing to, change my trading style a little bit, not to be fucking burned out all the time? Because if you sit behind your desk 16 hours a day on end, you'll like pick up stupid habits like day drinking for no reason. Just like ordering
Yeah.
pizza. It's just, but no, you just don't feel don't live very healthy. I'm not saying running 100 kilometers per week is much better for you than running, but than drinking, but I don't know. But
Yeah.
I guess the
Anyway,
least profitable thing to do is just sit on Twitter all day. It's just so fucking pointless.
someone asking about thoughts on timing the market top for crypto. I think that's like one of the most useless things you can do is try to time the top and bottom, because like you are never going to be able to do it. It's just like it's kind of meme. But what you can do is, like you are never going to, exit at the top or, buy at the bottom, but like you can, if you keep an eye on things, like, you can watch for signs to just get out, which in my opinion, like I said, I mentioned these couple times, is going to be this kind of like market is not going up on good news anymore, and maybe, TradFi is starting to crumble as well, and all things around start to look pretty shitty at the moment. I think we saw a little bit of a slowdown in the last month. Like we are basically at the same price ish that we were a month ago. Like we had this big rally on, July 9th and 10th, but since 10th of July we are basically at the same price. So but yeah, I think it's pointless to try to really time the tops and bottoms, because it's very hard thing to do, and
For
you
me, I
are
think
not
we're
going to be able to do it.
closer to the end or than to this of the cycle, unfortunately, than the beginning. Is that 3 months left? I don't know. If you look, I know it's very popular, the 4-year cycle theory. That puts us at Q4. If you're into that, that puts us at Q4, which is unfortunately very, very close. So I'm not gonna. But yeah, Q4, Q1. If you're into 4-year cycle thingy, that's your. Just don't round trip, I guess, would be my best advice, because like if Bitcoin goes, let's say Bitcoin has cycle topped already at 125 and it goes to 70 in bear market, which would be hilarious. Just a year ago, Bitcoin at 70k being a bear market, but if it goes to 70k in bear market, every single altcoin will literally go 90% down from here.
Yeah,
just
that's
like
likely.
I'm never doing that to myself ever again after 2021. So
I don't really.
I know you never bag hold it before, so
Yeah, I never, like, on contrary to that, I never held many things as well. It's always, I always love to, mention how I never, had this like 90% drawdown on like a liquid portfolio, because, I don't hold altcoins, but at the same time, I remember, selling my Uniswap airdrop 5 minutes after I got it, then watching it, going
100x.
much higher. Yeah, a lot. Buying, like I remember, I bought BNB. This is one of my biggest fumbles. I bought a lot of BNB at like $15, I think, in 2020. Sold basically in like 50. Yeah.
That's
So
still a
yeah,
good trade.
there are ups and downs to it. Um, I still, after all this time, like I still don't know if well, I'm still pretty kind of certain that like the spot and chill thesis doesn't work, besides maybe BTC. Yeah, probably, like I hold, I hold BTC, I hold some ETH as well.
But hello, sir. What
But
about Arbitrum? Let's look at Arbitrum, of course.
but yeah, like if you just end up, like these people showcasing these like spot portfolios where they hold like 20 spot different coins, it's just like doesn't really make sense. It
So
all
you don't
costs
have
zero.
exposure to GameFi.
Yeah, no, I love these. Like I see these every other day on Twitter, mostly like for you page where people just share, you know, my crypto portfolio for 2026, whatever, and you have like 5 coins which are like fairly liquid in like top 50, and then you have this like one shitter which is like 500k market cap, and it's clearly the whole
Paid
point
show.
of yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
Ansem stopped posting. What happened to him?
I heard he's in jail.
Oh.
Someone,
Try
someone
not to be
posted this.
racist.
I have no idea what he is.
Yeah.
It's it's getting like, yeah, like a lot of these narratives, like it's you know, it's getting kind of depressed around on CT. You know, like I know you mentioned this couple times, this the dead internet theory, and you know, like all of these replies being just insanely bot
Dog shit.
driven, and yeah, and like in general, it's yeah, like I said, I mentioned this plenty of times, like one of the best things, like I don't have Twitter in my phone, you know, I barely open it on my desktop at this point, like when I want to post something, then I usually just post something which like I post like once a week at this point, and then I spend like a couple minutes scrolling to, you know, like following, then I open my for you page, I see like 7 people dying, and then I just close it and and come back a week later basically. So uh yeah, not great. uh anyway, I think that's gonna be it for today's stream. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully there is going to be little bit of a more fun volatility in the upcoming days. So there's one question: do you buy into narrative that BTC could become a risk of asset soon and stop going down? With not no no no, I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Bitcoin. I don't think this is going to happen. Because I think Bitcoin is too volatile. For that. Like even, you know, volatility on BTC went to shit, or like dropped insanely in last 5 years. You know, it's like completely different market from what you had on FTX. Sorry, not FTX. What was Bitfinex? Sorry, not Bitmax days. You know, annualized volatility. Annualized volatility on Bitcoin, I think it's still like 60%. Let me just check so I'm not talking nonsense. You know, historical
Sorry, I'm giggling
volatility.
'cause there's this fucking image of this fucking haircut guy from Lucky Biza. Holy shit.
Yeah, yeah. I saw it as well. But yeah, annualized volatility of Bitcoin is like 50%. You know, no one is going to buy, you know, asset as a true kind of a risk of theme asset, where basically, you know, like your risk of assets are gold, TLT maybe. Uh, yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case, because like you don't buy something which is 50% annualized volatility when you want to be risk off.
Also, don't think it's
Okay.
happening.
So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the streams are sponsored by BONKbot. If you want to trade meme coins, and you know, want to support the stream, you can check out BONKbot. The link is in the chat. And with that being said, we are going